Support comes from Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to sustainable and sound conservation of the state's forests, which support more than 41,000 Missouri jobs, resulting in a $10 billion industry. ChooseWood.com.
Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Sarah Fensky. Musician Pokey LaFarge had 2 shows scheduled for this weekend at Off Broadway, but the pandemic put those plans on hold. The Central Illinois native initially made St. Louis his home base in 2008. You could find him performing around town at the Tower Grove Farmers Market, the Missouri Botanical Garden, and other low-key spots. Since those early performances, Pokey LaFarge's career has taken off. He's performed on national television and radio shows and toured around the world. He's now released his 8th studio album on New West Records. It's called Rock Bottom Rhapsody. And for more, here's producer Alex Heuer.
Pokey LaFarge performs with a unique blend of jazz, blues, country, and rock that often has an old-timey feel. He no longer calls St. Louis home, but it's here where he made his mark. He left for Los Angeles a couple years ago, but is now between places during the pandemic. Pokey LaFarge, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Alex.
We've talked with quite a few musicians during the pandemic, and we've talked about how they're holding up during this time. How are you holding up?
Well, doing pretty good considering. I have been able to find the time, I guess of which there's plenty, to be productive and dive further into the writing of a new record and also some self-care, exercising a lot, eating well. But I do pretty good in isolation, so I'm not too worried about myself, but just really thinking a lot about kind of what this means for me, but also as us as a people, what this means for the world. It's a lot to wrap your head around. It's pretty interesting.
You tour around the world. You would have just finished a small tour in Europe if we weren't in a pandemic, and you would have been here in St. Louis for a couple of shows this weekend at Off Broadway. Do you find yourself thinking about what could have been a lot?
No, I don't usually spend too much time thinking about that in general, for better or worse, I guess, for the better. No, it's whether you want to say it happened for a reason or not, it is happening, and you got to kind of, grab the bull by the horns, whatever. You grab a hold of the muse and hang on her coattails as long as you can. No, I don't think about what could have been. I'm making the best of it. I just wish you could do more. Really, wish you could help people. I wish you could go out there and help people more. I wish people weren't suffering.
Well, and I know to a certain extent people like to have a break. They still like entertainment. They can't go to concerts. And you've been doing what seems to be weekly, at least, virtual sets. Is that satisfying your bug to perform in a way?
It's a quick fix.
Yeah.
I definitely found that I've enjoyed them more than I guess I thought I would. I didn't really have that big frame of reference for streaming shows, really. No, there's so much more that would go into the performing of an actual show, obviously. It's just a quick fix. It's really kind of the performer side of me in a lot of ways has been put to the side and even somewhat reevaluated.
I want to get to one of the new tracks on the album. Let's take a listen to End of My Rope.
My
That's End of My Rope off of Pokey LaFarge's new album, Rock Bottom Rhapsody. Pokey, that's a upbeat song for content that I'd say is fairly dark, and you said as part of the release for this album, quote, "The man singing these songs isn't exactly the same man who wrote them." What do you mean by that?
Well, the same person who said that quote isn't the same man you're talking to now, so I don't know. You know, we say things all the time, and then we're expected to talk about them. I mean, I don't know, man. You know, it's just, you know, you write to attempt to communicate what it is you're feeling. I don't know if you ever quite get there. I don't know because I don't know if you quite ever know what you have gone through and what you are going through. So that being said, I guess I'm thankful that I have songs as an outlet for me, maybe as healing and to enjoy, and hopefully for others to enjoy.
And I know you're not getting into the specifics, but you've referred to and mentioned in some other places that you've gone through some pretty tough times, particularly at the end of 2018. And knowing that you don't want to get into those specifics, what helped you come out of it?
Well, you know, I guess definitely God being the biggest catalyst in what has been a personal transformation in me, definitely in the pursuit of humility and clarity and honesty within myself, but also affirming once again why I feel like I'm here, and that is to write music and to sing and to perform. So that has been a huge burst of energy and positivity and confidence in me in the last year. Just writing like crazy, you know, just feeling that sort of, not necessarily just the inner peace, if you will, but the inner confidence, you know, that's more attached to truth and honesty. I don't think that I'm sort of overcompensating as much as maybe all performers do, you know, maybe speaking to the reason why we perform in the first place, because we're overcompensating for something. I'd like to get away from that and just kind of write and perform honestly, not to overcompensate as much as music is just a drug. I'd like to really use it for something real.
What's it like to do promotion and go on tour for a new album that's about a different time in your life, a darker time, and having to go on stage to perform songs like that?
Yeah, that's the whole thing, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's not easy. I don't really like it, to be honest with you. Anybody who's seen me perform over the years, I don't do a very good job of performing the songs off of the record that just came out, especially not performing songs that have come out with previous records. Maybe that's also a product of being an artist who's released 8 records now. You know, of course, you can't play every song that's on the record, but I do like playing new songs, they being hopefully more relevant to how I'm feeling in the current time, which I'm performing them.
And is that maybe a reason why you're writing so much, is so that you don't feel like you have to perform that on stage?
Well, I don't know if I ever thought about that. Again, I just think writing is just something natural that comes to me. Maybe it's a survival technique. I don't know.
You're turning to God. I think media as a whole does a particularly bad job at covering religion, and so I'm just curious, what is it about that? Is that something that is God something you were attached to when you were growing up in central Illinois, or is it something
No.
that you've turned to just recently?
No, I don't think the Catholic Church does a very good job of connecting people to God. And let me just say, religion is a man-made thing. So, no, I don't prescribe to any denomination, because no denomination is going to bring you, you know, say that can you say one denomination is more right than the other? If anything, it's more, seems to draw lines in the sand and push people further away from God. So for me, I don't really consider myself even a religious person. I consider myself to be a spiritual person. But I do believe in Jesus, and however outcast that makes me within the music community, it certainly makes me outcast within the Christian community, because I don't really believe a lot of the man-made things that Christians say.
Like what?
Well, just getting into a bigger, broader question or conversation here, and I may struggle to find a way to make this short and succinct. I'll just say that it's important to keep an open mind, and it's not for us as humans to judge.
Well, I'm glad that you found peace with that, and it sounds both in your spiritualness and also in continuing your songwriting. So I'm just really happy about that, Pokey.
Oh, thanks, Alex. I appreciate that.
Turning to a little bit of a brighter topic, I want to play another song from the new album Rock Bottom Rhapsody called "Lucky Sometimes." Here it is.
Waiting tables at the burger stand. You were sitting alone. I came up for your order and asked you what you want. You said, do you really want to know? Just got to town, I didn't have a friend. I didn't even have a car. Down at the 3 clubs I wrote you a poem, and you bought the drinks at the bar. Oh, then you fell in love with me. Yes, you did, you took me to A from Z. Yes, you did, there was something you could see. I was broken, I was poor, then you said I could be yours. Though I don't have a dime, even bums get lucky sometimes.
That's Lucky Sometimes from Pokey LaFarge. I'd say that you're for sure a crooner there.
Thanks.
I suppose it was intentional, but I'm just curious what went into the songwriting of that one.
Oh, well, I just felt like I needed to write a love song for the girl I was with at the time. She deserved much more than just a song, but the song was what she got, and that's what I have, and that's what people have from that time.
I was looking back at our past coverage of you, and I think I counted at least 6 or 7 different interviews over the years. And in some of those past interviews, I didn't go back and listen to them, but I definitely recall you talking about how you were just on a musical journey, and then how people need to go along with you on that musical journey regardless of how you shift your sound. Where would you say you're at in that musical journey?
Well, Alex, that's a really great question. I would say feeling more free than ever, really. Had a great run with the South City 3. I'm sure they would probably agree, and I'm sure we would all agree that we're better off doing our own things right now and moving on. And us all having moved on, I think, has brought a lot of freedom and peace to our own lives, respectively. And hopefully songwriting-wise, for some of the songwriters like Ryan, and Adam. I'm feeling better than ever, man. Better than ever. I'm not a hip hop artist or a anybody else who's got a short shelf life in the music business. I'm a lifer. I'm going to be performing and recording music until I'm an old man, hopefully. God willing.
Well, I know your fans are going to appreciate that, and I know that you still have a big fan base here in St. Louis and over specifically many parts of the Midwest, but we hope to see you back in St. Louis as soon as is possible. So thank you so much for spending some time with us today, Pokey LaFarge.
Well, Alex, I appreciate you, and appreciate it, you always taking the time to speak with me, and I want to thank all the people in St. Louis that have been so good to me over the years, the friends and the fans, and I hope that you all stay safe out there and discovering some good new music and are sharing that with your friends and family, and I hope to see you all very soon.
That's former St. Louis musician Pokey LaFarge talking with producer Alex Heuer. LaFarge's shows at Off Broadway are on hold because of the pandemic, but Rock Bottom Rhapsody is now available wherever you get your music. This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio. That's 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to conservation and careful management of the state's forests to make them more resilient and better habitats for wildlife. ChooseWood.com.